Shalom. I want to give all the praise, all the glory, all the honor unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakah, Kodash. Double honors goes out to the elder apostles of Great Millstone for teaching me the truth. Also want to acknowledge all the Akyam who are pushing the truth with sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth, and shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel. Okay, this is Shabai from the GMS Denver, and I'm going to go in through the Spirit today on Jeremiah 23. It says, Woe, 23 and 1, Woe be unto the pastors that destroy and scatter the sheep of my pastors, saith Yahweh. All right, and if you're a pastor or a teacher, or you're trying to teach the Bible, and you're not teaching according to the ways of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, then you're scattering the sheep. All right, and that's a serious offense in the eyes of Yahweh. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh, the Most High of Israel, against the pastors that feed my people, ye have scattered my flock, and driven them away, and have not visited them. Behold, I will visit upon you the evil of your doing, saith Yahweh. You see that? So you're scattering the flock, man. When you're teaching a false doctrine, you're doing nothing more than scattering the flock, and yet Yahweh is going to visit you for that. And it's going to be evil. Your evil doings are going to cause you destruction. The Most High, is going to put you to death. Verse 3. And I will gather the remnant of my flock out of all the countries whither I had driven them, and will bring them again to their folds, that they shall be fruitful and increase. All right, the remnant also dealing with the 1/3 of Israel, starting out first and foremost with his 144,000 prophets who are preaching sound doctrine, teaching the flock correctly. All right, we feed the flock with with the good bread, with the good fruit, with the good, we're giving them that living water. Verse 4. And I will set up shepherds over them which shall feed them, and they shall fear no more, nor be dismayed, neither shall they be lacking, saith Yahweh. All right, and what it is, we're feeding them the truth, not the lies, not the doctrines of men, not the false philosophies. We're giving them the truth. Jeremiah 3 and 15. And I will give you pastors according to mine heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. We're feeding you this knowledge. We're teaching you this truth according to knowledge and understanding, not according to the lies you've been taught by the so-called white man, the Esau, Edom. He giving you nothing but lies. Anything outside of the truth of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai is blasphemy. And those pastors, those teachers are surely going to pay for their sin, or for their blasphemy. You got to teach this Bible. When you teach the Bible, you have to teach the sound doctrine. Starting out with the names, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. You teaching any other names outside of those true names? Hey, guess what? You're accountable. Jeremiah 23 and 4. Verse 5, actually. Behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, that I will raise unto David a righteous branch, and a king shall reign and prosper, and shall execute judgment and justice in the earth. And that's Yahushai. He's that righteous branch. Remember, I'm always telling you that we have this understanding because of what Yahushai did. All right, he was worthy to loosen the seals in Revelation 5. And this is why we have the truth. And this is why there's no excuse for, these men and women who are out there teaching, nothing but lies, teaching doctrines of men, teaching unsound doctrine. You have no excuse. Like I said, you're accountable. In his days, Judah shall be saved, and Israel shall dwell safely. And this is his name whereby he shall be called Yahweh our righteousness. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, that they shall no more say, Yahweh liveth, which brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But Yahweh liveth, which brought up which led the seed of the house of Israel out of the north country from all countries wherever I had driven them, and they shall dwell in their own land. All right, so this is talking about the new deliverance, the second deliverance, which is about to, this hasn't happened yet, because we're going to get delivered out of Babylon, right? This is the spiritual Egypt. The north country dealing with North America, okay? We were delivered from the children of Israel, you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. We were delivered from ancient Egypt, right? That's what it's talking about in verse 7. But it says that's not going to be talked about anymore. It's going to be the new deliverance. That's what's going to be talked about. All right? That's why it says, therefore, behold, in verse 7, the days come, saith Yahweh, that they shall no more say, Yahweh liveth, which brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But it's talking about the new deliverance, the second coming of our Lord Yahweh Shai. Because Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is going to, and the angels are going to deliver us from, all the countries where we've been scattered, all the countries where we've been driven. All right? Right here we're reading it, the house of Israel of the north country from all the countries whether they have been scattered, all right? Let me see. Let me see if I can find a verse. Otherwise, well, I'll grab this one. I wasn't going to grab this one, but it's fitting. Baruch 2:30. It says, for I knew that they would not hear me, because it is a stiff-necked people, but in the land of their captivities they shall remember themselves. All right? And let's see. And shall know that I am Yahweh, their power, for I will give them a heart and ears to hear, and they shall praise me in the land of their captivity and think upon my name. Right, so we're praising Yahweh right now in the land of our captivity, and this is why the ones who are praising Yahweh Bashem Yahushai are going to be delivered from the land of our captivity, which is the land of the north that we read of in Jeremiah 23. And not to mention all the other countries where we've been scattered, because you have the Israelites who are remembering themselves in all the different countries, all the different nations here in these latter days, okay? Here in these last days. Jeremiah 23 and 8. Let me see. What else was I going to grab? There was another verse I was going to grab. You know what? I'll grab Jeremiah. Or no, Judges. Oops, not Joshua. Judges 5:11. It says, they that are delivered from the noise of archers in the place of drawing water, the place of noise of the archers is going to be Babylon, America, whereas the noise of those archers is going to be the noise of those missiles, all right, those arrows. And this is where we're going to be delivered during that destruction, during that nuclear World War III, when the missiles are being shot to America, amongst other places, right? It says, in the place of drawing water, and this is where we're drawing the water. The water represents the truth. We're drawing it out, right? We're remembering ourselves in our captivity. It says, there shall they rehearse the righteous acts of Yahweh, even the righteous acts toward the inhabitants of the villages in Israel. Then shall the people of Yahweh go down to the gates. You see? So we're going to be delivered here in America, in Babylon, America. And it's not going to be talked about. The ancient Egypt, the deliverance from ancient Egypt will no more be talked about, but instead it's going to be the great deliverance that's going to happen during the time of that we're about to approach, that we're fastly approaching. During the deliverance out of the nuclear fire, the nuclear war, the place where we are rehearsing the righteous acts, which is Babylon, America, where we're rehearsing the act, and among the other nations and countries, like it says, all the other countries where we've been driven. Okay, but the main focus, the main deliverance is going to take place in the land of Babylon, America. Okay, the North Country. Let's get Jeremiah 23:9. It says, "Mine heart within me is broken because of the prophets. All my bones shake. I am like a drunken man, and like a man whom wine hath overcome, because Yahweh, and because of Yahweh, and because of the words of his holiness." All right, and this is Jeremiah speaking, but it's Yahweh speaking through Jeremiah the prophet. Because guess what? Yahweh always has his remnant, but Jeremiah witnessed false prophets just like we do right now. So, this is what he's talking about, these false prophets, because there were false prophets during the time of Jeremiah, right? Verse 10. "For the land is full of adulterers, for because of swearing the land mourneth, and the pleasant places of the wilderness are dried up, and their course is evil, and their force is not right." Right? Talking about the false prophets, talking about the nation of Israel, the 2/3, the wicked portion of our people. All right, and even now, it says the land is full of adulterers. Look at the story that came out on that football player Steve Smith just last week. All right, you have a land full of adulterers, and when you see if you paid attention to that story, you see that not only was Steve Smith committing adultery, but you also saw that the majority of the people were sticking up for Steve Smith, right? You had Shannon Sharp, Ocho Cinco. They have that nightcap show or whatever, and them two dudes were sticking up for Steve Smith instead of, pointing out his sin. Because why? Because the people don't have reverence for the truth. They don't have reverence for Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. They're in a slumber. They don't understand the laws of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, which they know that he was wrong, but yet they're willing to, forget about the laws of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai and rather stick up for the adulterer Steve Smith. Okay, Steve Smith Sr., whatever his name is. Verse 11. "For both the prophet and the priest are profane. Yeah, in my house have I found their wickedness, saith Yahweh. Wherefore their ways shall be unto them as slippery ways in the darkness. They shall be driven on, and fall therein. For I will bring evil upon them, even the year of their visitation, saith Yahweh." Right? So these false prophets are going to be dealt with. Anybody who's down with the false prophets, you're also going to be down with. There's only a remnant is going to be saved, right? It says, "And I have seen the folly in the prophets of Samaria. They prophesied in Baal and caused my people Israel to err." Right, and remember, Samaria represents the northern kingdom Israelites. This is where the northern kingdom Israelites dwelt after the split. They were in Samaria. This is where they set up golden calves. This is where they prophesied in Baal, and they're still doing that to this day. All right. "I've also seen the prophets in Jerusalem, an horrible thing. They commit adultery and walk in lies. They strengthen also the hands of the evildoers, that none doth return from his wickedness. They are all of them unto me as Sodom, and the inhabitants thereof as Gomorrah." Right, because this is talking about Jerusalem in the Israel in the Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, who was the southern kingdom, still dwelling in Jerusalem. They were just as wicked as the prophets of Samaria, which the prophets of Samaria represent the northern kingdom prophets. Verse 15, "Thus saith Yahweh of hosts concerning the prophets, Behold, I will feed them with wormwood and make them drink the water of gall, for the prophets of Jerusalem is profaneness gone forth into all the land." Right, when you have those false prophets, you just like right now, you got a lot of men who are teaching the truth incorrectly, teaching, they're not like guys that are not condemning adultery. If you're not condemning that behavior, and you're promoting it, or you're allowing it, or you're okay with it, then guess what? You that's the way how you basically you're profaning the whole land, because everybody's gonna feel like that it ain't no big deal. And that's why Babylon has to be destroyed, because there's no people in this place. They really don't look at adultery as a serious offense. Which, when we go into the scriptures, that's an offense likened unto a death. All right, worthy of death. Verse 16. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, hearken not unto the words of the prophets that prophesy unto you. They make you vain. They speak of a vision of their own heart, and not out of the mouth of Yahweh. And you have a lot of men doing that right now. Right? You have guys like the IUIC. They're telling you that the mark of the beast is not the micro C hip. So they're going to be accountable when the flock takes the micro C hip, because they listen to those false prophets. That's just one example, right? They also said there was no Jacob's trouble at one point, which now they're saying there is Jacob's trouble, but you get the point. They're prophesying deceits. They're waxing worse and worse with their words and with their teachings. All right, you got to look to the leadership of GMS on down for the true prophets, the men who are prophesying, sound doctrine according to the scriptures. They say still unto them that despise me, Yahweh hath said, ye shall have peace. And they say unto every one that walketh after the imagination of his own heart, no evil shall come upon you. Right? And the men of GMS, we've never been telling you that you're going to be going to the kingdom scot-free. No, you're going to enter into the kingdom through much tribulation, as it is written. Let's get that real quick. Entering into the kingdom through much tribulation, KJV. All right, let's see. Let me see. Oh, shit, I muted it. Enter into the kingdom through much tribulation, KJV. Okay, so we're going to go to Acts 14 and 22 for that one. Acts 14 and 22. Confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith, and that we must through much tribulation enter into the kingdom of the Most High, Yahweh. All right, so you're going to go through lots of tribulation, and in so many words, it's literally Jacob's trouble. You're going to have to go through Jacob's trouble. Let's get that real quick. Jeremiah 30 and 7. Alas, for the day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Why are we going to need to be saved out of it? Because it's going to be affliction. It's going to be tribulation. It's going to be trouble. All right? It's not going to be a cakewalk. It's not going to be, it's like some of these Israelites are saying that, there's not going to be no Jacob's trouble, that they don't know the truth. They're prophesying deceits. They're teaching lies, okay? Let's get Jeremiah 23 and 17 again. I'm going to read it again. They say still unto them that despise me, Yahweh hath said, ye shall have peace, and they say unto every one that walketh after the imagination of his own heart, no evil shall come upon you. No, we just read Jacob's troubles. We have to go through Jacob's trouble. We have to go through much tribulation to enter the kingdom. Verse 18, for who hath stood in the counsel of Yahweh, and hath perceived and heard his word, who hath marked his word and heard it? Behold, a whirlwind of Yahweh is gone forth in fury, even a grievous whirlwind, and it shall fall grievously upon the head of the wicked. And that whirlwind is going to be those chariots. They're going to fall grievously upon the hand of the wicked. Right? You got it in. Is it Zechariah? Let's grab that real quick. Let's see. Is it Zechariah? Let me see. Zechariah or Zephaniah, I always forget. Oh, Zechariah. It says, and I turned and lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll. And he said unto me, what seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof 10 cubits. So Zechariah is looking at a chariot, which is the flying roll. And it said in verse 3, then said he unto me, this is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. For everyone that stealeth shall be cut off as on this side according to it, and everyone that sweareth shall be cut off as on that side according to it. I will bring it forth, saith Yahweh of hosts, and it shall enter into the house of the thief. The house of the thief is America. And it's talking about the chariots. It's going to be a curse, right? It just said it's a curse that goes over the face of the whole earth. And I will bring it forth, saith Yahweh, and it shall enter into the house of the thief, and into the house of him that sweareth falsely by my name. And we just talked about that. You listen to them false prophets who are swearing falsely by Yahweh's name. Well, guess what? You're going to go down just like that false prophet is. You're going to be cut off. All right? And it's going to be a grievous... It's going to grievously fall upon the head of the wicked, like we read in Jeremiah. All right? Let me read it. And into the house, and I will bring it forth, saith Yahweh of hosts, and it shall enter into the house of the thief, to America, and into the house of him that sweareth falsely by my name, and it shall remain in the midst of his house, and shall consume it with the timber thereof and the stones thereof. All right? Because that chariots, the whirlwinds, they have what you call a concentrated fire coming out of that laser that comes out of that beam of the chariot, the chamber. Okay? So that's what it's going to be, man. It's going to fall grievously upon the head of the wicked. And it's going to, anybody who's in the fold of the false prophets, you're listening to the false prophets, you're going to be part of that destruction. The anger, verse 20, Jeremiah 23 and 20, the anger of Yahweh shall not return until he have executed, until he have performed the thoughts of his heart in the latter days, and ye shall consider it perfectly. When you see it, if you're on the wrong end of the stick, right? You over there was calling on the wrong names. You were listening. You said you were listening to those false prophets saying there was no Jacob's trouble. You took the mark of the beast. Took the micro C hip. And guess what? You're going to be considering the truth when you see those chariots and they start blasting everything, and including you. They start blasting you because you didn't listen. Along with the chariot fire, right? There's lots of terrors coming in the day of Yahweh. Verse 21, I have not sent these prophets, yet they ran. I have not spoken to them, yet they prophesied. Yeah, because you have a lot of false prophets that are Yahweh, Baal Hashem Yahushua is not dealing with them. The Spirit's not dealing with them. And they wax worse and worse. And their doctrine is just gone to shit in these last days. They're still teaching, but they're breaking down things incorrectly. Teaching the flock lies. Teaching the flock, showing the flock, to err. Giving them wrongful guidance. But if they had stood in my counsel and had caused my people to hear my words, then they should have turned from their evil way and from their evil of their doings, right? So if they were to repent, then these false prophets, if they're Israelites, they have a chance to repent. But, if not, they're going to be held accountable greatly, and that whirlwind is going to fall grievously upon the head of the wicked. And those false prophets are considered the wicked. And when we read all this, you got to understand the heathen, it's beyond the heathen. The heathen are going to get destroyed. There's no repentance. There's no salvation for the heathen. All right. So this is if you're an Israelite. This is really talking to the house of Israel. You so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans are the only ones who have the ability to repent. Verse 23. Am I a power at hand, saith Yahweh, and not a power afar off? Right. Just because you can't see him doesn't mean he's not right there. Verse 24. Can any hide himself in the secret place that I shall not see him? Saith Yahweh, do not I feel heaven and earth, saith Yahweh? Right. The eyes of the Lord are many, and it deals with his chariots. Again, the chariots, they're messengers, they're angels. The word angel means messenger, so they report everything that is happening on the earth to Yahweh, and nothing goes unseen. I have heard what the prophets said that prophesy lies in my name, saying, I have dreamed. right? The guys like Martin Luther King, he had that famous speech, "I have a dream," and that dude was a false prophet because he was coming in, I think, wasn't he like a Baptist church minister or something like that? And I actually pulled up his speech right here. And he's a false prophet. Martin Luther King is a false prophet. You read the scriptures and then you read his little speech, which I'm not even quite sure if he wrote that. You could look it up. I'm sure we're in the information age. You can look it up to see who actually wrote the "I Have a Dream" speech for Martin Luther King, which Martin Luther King, he was nothing but a false prophet. All right, you got pictures. You can look up pictures of him mingling with the heathen, mingling with the wicked. All you gotta do is Google Martin Luther King and the Rothschilds, and you'll see him in pictures with the wicked elite family. He was a puppet. He was set up by the so-called white man, again, for deception. Okay. And I know that's gonna piss off a lot of so-called black people because that's your motherfucker right there. Old MLK is your boy. Well, guess what? When you know the truth, you know everything is exposed. Okay? Let me see. But let me read this little excerpt from the speech of Martin Luther King, just to prove that he's a false prophet. He says, "I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves, the sons of former slave owners, will be able to sit down together at a table of brotherhood." Okay, so we know the slave owners were the Edomites. So what the hell are we gonna do sitting at a table and consider these our brothers? All right, it ain't gonna happen. Okay, Salakia. So you got this dude. He's talking about he wants to sit down with Edomites and in brotherhood, and we know that the scriptures does not speak about that. The word holy means separate. The nation of Israel, it should be separate from all the heathen. Okay, that's just basic understanding. So let's keep reading this speech a little bit more. "I have a dream that one day the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today." You see? So let me read this is the last part. It says, "I have a dream that one day down in Alabama, with its vicious racists, with its governor have his lips dripping with the words of interposition and nullification, one day right down in Alabama, little black boys and little black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and little white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today." And this is what we read in the scriptures. Let's read it again. Jeremiah 23 and 25. "I have heard what the prophets said that prophesied lies in my name, saying, I have dreamed, I have dreamed." And that's what Martin Luther King ain't nothing but more than a fucking false prophet. Yahweh never ordained for the children of Israel to be joining hands with the children of the wicked. All right, let's get let's get this real quick. Oh man, let's get this real quick. "Make no covenant with the heathen," it tells you in the scriptures. It tells you that in Exodus 23 and 32. 23 and 32, it says, this is talking about the heathen. Let's just start 23 and 32, the middle verse. "Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor with their gods." Talking about the heathen, the other nations. "They shall not dwell in thy land, lest they make thee sin against me. For if thou serve their gods, it will surely be a snare unto thee." Well, that means a trap, snare. And that's what it is, man. You Israelites, you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, you're following a heathen doctrine, following heathen religions. Stuff that goes back in the ancient to witchcraft, sorcery. the Catholicism. That means the word Catholic, it means universal. So when you go into the word universal, that's talking about what Martin Luther King. He's preaching a universal doctrine with all nations joining hands, black girls, white girls, Chinese girls, Hispanic girls, all of everybody just join hands. He has a dream, right? But that ain't what the truth doesn't want. Yahweh is a power, a God of separation, all right, of division, of holiness. His people are a holy people. The Israelites are a holy people. When you go into that word holy, it means separate. So it's not about mingling with the heathen. It's not about joining hands with the heathen. All right? Jeremiah 23 and 25, he says, I have heard the prophet said that prophesy lies in my name, saying, I have dreamed. Well, yeah, that dude, Martin Luther King, was nothing but a paid actor, a hypocrite, okay? A poser. Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai is not dealing with all the families of the earth. Let's get that real quick in Amos. And then I'll move on from this. Amos 3 and 1. I hear this word that Yahweh hath spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family, which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth, therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities. You see that? So he's telling you right here in Amos, through Amos, Yahweh is saying, you're the only ones out of all the families of the earth that I've known, that have known me, that have known my ways. So why in the hell would you want to make a covenant with the heathen? All right? In the kingdom, the heathen are going to be under us. And they're gonna follow our laws, our statutes, our commandments, the laws of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. They ain't gonna have no choice. All right, so let's keep moving on. Jeremiah 23 and 26. How long let me see if this thing's still going. Okay, we're still going. How long shall this be in the heart of the prophets that prophesy lies? Yeah, they are prophets of deceit of their own heart. Right. And there's a lot of prophets that are false prophets, not just Martin Luther King. Okay? Which think to cause my people to forget my name by their dreams, which they tell every man to his neighbor, as their fathers have forgotten my name for Baal. Right, and really, that's what Martin Luther King did. He forgot the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and he was coming in that white Jesus doctrine. That's the spirit he was coming in. He put aside, through the spirit he did this, right? He may not even have consciously known that, because I'm not sure. I know Martin Luther, or no, not Martin Luther, what's his name, the other guy, Malcolm X. I know that he was exposed to the Hebrew Israelites, and he was actually, if I'm not mistaken, don't quote me on this, but I believe he encountered, or he had run-ins with our elder Abba Bivens, and was actually hearkening to the truth, and that could have been one of the reasons why that he was put to death. But I'm not sure about MLK. I don't know if he was ever exposed or came across the true prophets. He probably did, though. Wouldn't be surprised if he did. All right, it says the prophet that hath, but anyway, MLK, he put aside the true power, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and he represented Baal. That's why he was telling you that speech, that he has a dream that little white boys and little white girls and little black boys and little black girls are going to all join hands, which we know through the truth, through the spirit. Yahweh is a holy Father, a holy power, and his people are holy, meaning separate. Verse 28. The prophet that hath a dream, let him tell a dream, and he that hath my word, let him speak my word faithfully. What is the chaff to the wheat, saith Yahweh? Right. So you might have a dream, but guess what? We have the word. We have the true word. So we're going to push this word according to the truth. And you want to talk about your dreams, and just because you got paid off, then you do you, Verse 29. Is not my word like as a fire, saith Yahweh, and like a hammer that breaketh the rock in pieces? And that's how powerful this truth is, because whatever we say, we're going to back it up with the scriptures. All right, and that's what makes it like a hammer breaking a rock in pieces, or like fire. These words consume people's spirits. This word is a consuming fire, man. Verse 30, therefore, behold, I am against the prophets, saith Yahweh, that steal my words, every one from his neighbor. Behold, I am against the prophets that Yahweh, that use their tongues and say, he saith. Behold, I am against them that prophesy false dreams, saith Yahweh, and do tell them, and cause my people to err by their lies, and by their lightness, yet I sent them not, nor commanded them, therefore they shall not profit this people at all, saith Yahweh. Right, there's no profit you're going to get out of the feel-good doctrine that MLK was pushing, or like all the false doctrines that you have on in Babylon right now. If it's not the truth, it's not profitable. All right, if it's not under the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, it's not profitable. All right. You're going to be held accountable. You're going to get destroyed. And why is that? It's because you chose to listen to lies. You chose to believe lies. And really, at the end of the day, Yahweh is the one who put you in the spirit to believe lies. All right, let's grab that real quick, and I'll close out on that. 2 Thessalonians 2 and 11. It says, well, I'll read 10. 2 Thessalonians 2 and 10, and with all deceivableness and unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. And for this cause the Most High Yahweh shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie. All right? So with that, I want to give all the praise, all the glory, all the honor unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakah Kodash. Double honors goes out to the other apostles of Great Millstone for teaching me the truth. Also want to acknowledge the Akim, who are pushing the truth with sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. And shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel. Shalom.